So I wanted to come work for SSAFA for a number of different reasons. I've always had a strong affinity with the armed forces, sort of grandparents who fought in the Second World War, and I hadn't heard too much about what SSAFA did, but the more I sort of looked into them when I found out about the role that I applied for, the better they sounded, and they do an enormous amount with not only our armed forces but also their families as well, which I thought was a really nice selling point for the charity. Yeah, so my current role is Corporate Partnerships Account Manager, which is a bit of a mouthful, but basically means that I manage SSAFA's existing relationships with the corporate world. So some of that is business development, or a small element of my role is business development, which is going out and finding new corporate supporters for SSAFA. But actually the primary purpose of my role is to manage existing relationships. So I manage charity partnerships with Openreach, who are part of BT, Carillion Amy, who are a defence property maintenance company, and Nationwide we've started doing a lot more work with this year, and I manage our relationship with them as well. Yes, so we have a 5-year what's called Charity of the Year partnership with Openreach. We are their first sort of official charity partner, and they are our first partner from a non-defence background. So my job is to sort of plot out a calendar of events for the year, of activities that get involved in, some of which is fundraising, some of which is volunteering. We had on Monday and Tuesday, I had 40 people from Openreach come and wear SSAFA t-shirts and collect at King's Cross and Euston, which raised £1,400 across 2 days, which is a terrific amount. And actually, one of the values of having corporate partners is you have a very large pool of people to tap into to help you, but also it helps increase SSAFA's brand awareness. So the value of having people in front of the general public wearing a SSAFA t-shirt is enormous. Particularly as one of the things that we need to work on as a charity is we're not as well known as Help for Heroes and Royal British Legion, and having a partnership with a company like Openreach, who are obviously enormous, they've got 35,000 staff and a national reach, is great news for us because we can sort of fly on their coattails. So the working culture at SSAFA is very relaxed. Actually, we've got a very close-knit corporate and events team that I'm part of, but also from a wider sort of point of view, everyone here has a huge affinity for the work that we do, which is obviously fairly common in charities, but seems to be particularly strong within SSAFA itself. There's also, particularly in my role, obviously quite a business-orientated kind of culture because of the nature of the people that we deal with. But I find it's a very sort of easygoing place to work, and everyone here goes the extra mile because you know that the beneficiaries that we have are getting results at the end of the day. I think now is a great time to join SSAFA because we have so many people that are still left to help. I mean, we help about 55,000 people each year, but we have a huge opportunity to reach everybody that needs our assistance. And there's two ways of looking at the fact that we're not as well known as some of the other charities. One is that obviously that's negative and something we need to improve, but two, it also says that the only way is up. So we've got a great strategy in place to improve our brand awareness, which is doubled just by putting SSAFA, the Armed Forces charity, instead of just SSAFA. So it's a very exciting time in terms of we're growing the corporate team, we're growing the fundraising team. There's a huge amount of people out there that still need our help, and we're at the start of a quite exciting journey, I think. So I've got two things that are very sort of satisfying and rewarding in terms of achievement since I joined. One of which is the work that we've done with Nationwide. So Nationwide have just signed off on giving SSAFA £55,000 over the next year to fund the work that we do in the housing field, which is helping veterans or personnel who are exiting the forces get into a home of their own, whether that's rental or bought. So that's been very, very positive, and has come out of not very much really in terms of relationship, but Nationwide hired a military engagement manager who is ex-army, and we've done loads of work with him and built up a very strong relationship and got a very sizable donation on the back of it. So that's been very rewarding. And the second thing, which we've already touched on, was having 40 people from Openreach turn up in SAFA t-shirts and collect money for us, and they were very enthusiastic. So my future in terms of career progression with SAFA is hopefully on the basis of the sky's the limit. I'm quite conscious that I'm still very new to the organisation. I've only been here 5 months, so I'm really just concentrating on delivering in my current role, but it certainly seems very flexible and very rewarding in terms of if you want to progress, then there's opportunities to do so. So I'd love to be here for as long as possible, but in terms of longer term future, then who knows. So I feel that SSAFA is very supportive in terms of progressing people and giving them the opportunity to develop. A great example of that is that I've recently completed a mentoring course with a university student, which is not really anything to do with SSAFA, but SSAFA were very supportive of that, gave me an opportunity to mentor a student and bring them here and do sort of 7 or 8 sessions with them over the course of the previous 5 months. So it's just an example for me of the amount of interest that they take in people's personal development, and certainly I've been given quite a wide range in terms of my current role to deliver. So yeah, absolutely very supportive. So I always explain what SSAFA does to people in terms of we are there to help give back to people who have given loads to us in the first place. And actually a very nice element of what SSAFA does is the work that we do with families of serving personnel and veterans. So I always sort of describe SSAFA's work in that we're not as well known, we maybe don't shout the loudest in the marketplace, but actually we do probably the broadest amount of work across all the services, across our beneficiaries, across their families and our veterans. And it's charity is obviously a lot more complicated than what a number of my friends think, which is that I stand on a street corner shaking a bucket on a regular basis. But ultimately it all goes towards helping the Armed Forces community. So I've done a number of different commercial roles in preparation for sort of corporate fundraising. Before I came to SSAFA, I was the corporate development manager for Marie Curie on a maternity cover, which was my entry into the charity sector. But before then, I used to be a buyer and a store manager a number of years ago for Wix, who are a subsidiary of Travis Perkins, who are a FTSE 100 company. And that really sort of gave me an understanding of the commercial and corporate world, which is increasingly important, particularly in my role, from a charity perspective, that they need people who understand the business world and sort of commercial priorities. So I've taken everything that I've learned over the past sort of 9-10 years, which is quite alarming when I think about how long that is, and then applied that to sort of helping the charity maximise their corporate income.